we're coming together today to work on a part of ourselves that is, and we're made up of a lot of parts, and some of our parts are working to help us achieve. Hey, okay, welcome. Yes. Some of our parts are helping us to achieve what we want in our life, and other parts are working to help us survive, let's say. So those parts, those behavioral patterns that aren't serving you anymore, we're gonna do some nice work with those, and that's what we're here to do today. We're gonna do some parts work. So it's gonna take between an hour and 2 hours, just depends on how things flow here. Probably will go faster since normally I do this in a dialogue back and forth with my client, and we're not going to be going back and forth as much, although I will be giving you some time to write. So try and grab a pen and paper if you can. We're going to do a little bit of writing today. Not a whole lot, but just some. You can grab your journal, that might be appropriate. Is the music okay? Can somebody give me maybe if you feel comfortable giving me a comment saying that the music is at a good level? All right, good. I'm glad people are coming on. I think that we all need this. That's why I'm doing it. So being sequestered, being isolated in quarantine, I think is giving us all more time to reflect, for sure, on our lives and what we want and what we're, and where our lives are going as individuals, how we play into the part of the collective whole. And I think it's also giving us more time to feel. So all the feels happen more when there's less busyness. We're very busy creatures, and we tend to distract ourselves by staying super busy. I mean, I'm kind of surprised at how busy I'm staying right now. And my busyness reflects the difficulty that I have in facing my own feels, so my deeper emotions, my deeper ecology. April is the month that my brother took his life. It was really difficult for me, and it was a shocker for sure. Suicide is something that is really difficult to embrace when it happens, when it's someone real close to you. And it was someone real close to me. My brother was my everything. He was awesome. I loved him. And and losing him, and the moment that I heard that I lost my brother, my entire world changed, my entire life changed. This was quite a few years ago, 2006, 7, and April, it was in April. So this month is always a big one for me. It's when my whole world changed, and so it gives, this month comes with a blessing in that I'm able to reflect on my emotions and my behavioral patterns that were created in that split second that I heard about my brother's death. So yeah, April always brings that up. It brings up the behavioral patterns. It also brings up the grief again, so I can it's an opportunity to revisit the places that hold the reverence for my brother and his life. So now we are sequestered, and we have even more time to feel all the feels. So this is a good time for me, Spring is a good time for me. It's a time of renewal. It's a time of pruning. I don't know if you guys saw my little video of pruning my trees and, you know, tending to all those broken pieces so that they're not weighing me down. And I know that a lot of us are, we've been thrown into this sequester and isolation. Some of us live alone. It doesn't mean that we always have to be alone. We can meet people in our gardens or whatever, but we're spending a lot more time alone right now. And that offers us this platform to either distract ourselves with Netflix and scrolling and the latest conspiracy theories and all of that, or to do some really beautiful work. And I'm so happy and impressed by you guys coming on today to do this work with me. I think this is where it's at. I think this time gives us the opportunity to step up our game, which means to step up our self-care. I mean, I've heard from so many people that it's giving them an opportunity to take better care of themselves. And this is true. It's slowed us down. So let me be a part of that. My prayer today is just that I am an extension of exactly what your soul needs today, and that whatever I offer today can give you the empowerment that you need to step into what you want in your life and to better know yourself and love yourself even deeper and in ways that you never even knew were possible. That's my prayer. Yeah. So to continue my story just a little bit about myself and where I stand right now with what I do, you know, who I am, what I do, those of you who don't know me. I am a somatic healer. I'm a body worker. I've developed my own method of body work. That method of body work has a tendency to bring up a lot of emotional release in people, not always, but often. And it's called Dynamic Fascial Response. I work with the fascia. And I do a lot of work in this area of the chest, this heart area, a lot of the throat, and this whole area here, this whole thoracic area, actually down into the belly, under the diaphragm. It all holds a lot of emotion. And so I was having all of these people having emotional releases on my table, and I wanted to stay within my scope of practice. So I basically would just listen. And then some people wanted to dialogue more, back and forth. They wanted a back and forth, you know? And so I was trying to figure out, well, how could I hold that space in a way? And what do I want to study in order to hold that space? And then I had, so I was already sort of on this precipice of like, I want to learn something new. And then I had this awesome experience with local practitioner Matthew Blum. And he does neuro-linguistic programming, and he gave me an amazing session, a healing session that taught me that I am not my behavior. That I am not my behavior, that my behavior is something that happens, and that I am not that. I am not that. I am behind that. And that, you know, that there's an ecology to my behaviors, and there's something to get to know there. So that's something that he taught me in just working with him. Through working with him, that's what I discovered, is that I can understand a deeper ecology to why I do the things I do and how I do them. So I am, that's what we're going to be doing today. We're working with our parts. So if you get out a pen and paper, and we're going to be working with the part of yourself that's taking over the show, or at least presents itself in behavioral patterns that are not serving you any longer in your life, in the big picture of your life. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to be doing, okay? So first, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to do a little bit of journaling. I want you to write down, let's get in touch with your desired outcome. So what do you want? What would you like? So in your life, what would you like? If you were to wave a realistic magic wand on your life, what would you like? And just realistic means it has to fit into a framework that is realistic to not only where you live, like it's got to be an appropriate chunk size is what I was taught in NLP. So it also needs to be stated in the positive. So if you have started writing down what you don't want, don't feel alone. That's very common. So write down what you want stated in the positive. So if you don't want this part and you're trying to push it away, let's change that. Let's reframe that. Let's invite that part. It's here. It's what we're going to be working with. We can't push it away right now. We're going to work with it. But what would you like? What would you like in your life, and what would you like in regards to this part that's been taking the reins on your life? Either stifling it somehow or just not serving your bigger vision. So state in the positive what you want. And then after you state what you want, we're going to move to step 2, but I'm going to give you a minute to think about what you want in your life. And I want you to let me know through, or let yourself know by writing, continuing to write, through having that, what will having that do for you? So through having what you just wrote down that you want, what would having that do for you? And that's called a meta outcome, and that's really important to ask yourself. What will having that do for me? And then whatever you just wrote down, what will having that do for you? I want you to do it one more time. What will having that do for you? So whatever you just wrote after your initial desired state, then you said, what will having that do for me? And now you're saying, what will having that do for me? Okay. So now we have kind of a little bit of a deeper sense of what you really want. And then with whom and where and when do you want this? Do you want this tomorrow? Do you want this in a year? Do you want this immediately? When do you want this? And how will you know when you have it? So when you have this, what would you be feeling in your body? How would your body feel if you had this? Like, could you make a picture of, I think we're reversed right now. So when I say my upper right 2 o'clock, I might be reversed from you, but I'm up here, 2 o'clock, right around here is where we make new pictures. So I want you to make a picture of yourself in that image of what you want right here. So you can close your eyes and look up at 2 o'clock and imagine yourself right there. And if you can't imagine yourself in this picture of what you want, imagine, that's okay, because a lot of people will do this work and it's too hard for them to step out of their existing state. So if it's too hard for you to picture yourself, picture somebody that looks just like you. your twin. And just imagine that person, okay? So if you can imagine yourself up there, or your imagined self, put your feet in their feet, your hands in their hands, your head in their head, and just move through take a walk. Take a walk. How does it feel to be that person who is in their desired life state? And what does it feel like to look at the world from their eyes? So put your eyes in their eyes. Are the colors brighter? Do they notice different things? Notice that about that one you step into. Notice the posture. Notice how things look. Notice, like, when you take a breath from their lungs, what does that feel like? Does it feel different than how you're feeling presently? And just notice all of the good stuff about what would be wonderful about experiencing that. All these signs let you know that you have achieved your desired state. So just notice what you notice there. And then I have a question to ask you, which is, what might you lose if you had that now? Is there anything? Is there anything that you might lose that you value if you had that desired outcome right now? If there's anything that you might lose that you value if you had it, is there any way that you could change your desired outcome so that, and if you're not willing to lose that, maybe you need to change the frame and the chunk size of your desired outcome. Is it worthwhile? Is having this worthwhile to you? What might be lost and what might be gained, and is it worthwhile? So those are important questions that we need to ask ourselves. Okay? So some examples of parts are worry, fear, anxiety, panic, perfectionism, self-hatred, impatience, avoidance, hypervigilance is what I call control, or impulsiveness is another one. So these are all just parts. You know what part you want to work on today. And I want you to journal about it just for a little bit. So write a little bit about your part and this part that's creating an obstacle from you achieving your desired outcome, from you stepping into that one. And I want you to really write about it in a way that will help bring it up in your being, bring it up in your body so that you can start to feel it in your body. And when you're done writing or thinking about, if you're not journaling, that's okay. After you've identified this part, this behavioral pattern that's creating this obstacle, I want you to invoke the experience in your body so that you can feel it now. So close your eyes and know that you're safe. You're here with a group of people that will be there for you if you need us. And just try to invoke this behavioral pattern in your body in a way so that you can just feel where it bubbles up. Like, you don't have to fully experience the anxiety if it's one of those anxieties that comes and goes. If it's always there, you're going to be feeling it and you're going to know exactly where it's at. Anxiety often starts here and it moves up, and we feel it a lot here. So just for yourself, notice whatever part it is that you're working on today. Notice if it has a place where it resides in your body. And wherever that might be, I want you to put your hand there. And I want you to deliver some communication to the part, wherever your part might be in your body. I want you to deliver some information to it, okay? I want you to thank this part for being here. And let the part know that we know that it has a positive intention. And that we know that there's a difference between the positive intention and the method it uses to carry that intention out. So all parts have a positive intention. Even the part that pulls the trigger of a gun, whether they're shooting somebody or themselves, there's a part behind that method which sucks. That the pulling of the trigger is not useful, it's harmful, but the intention behind it is going to be something positive, like, I want to be seen, I want to be heard, I want to survive, even the person who kills themselves might want to survive, believe it or not. That's an oxymoron, but it's true. They might want to survive some other aspect of their life and have to die in order to survive it. So what I'm saying is, as you place your hand on whatever part of your body that holds this part's behavior, the behavioral pattern that you just brought up in your body, and you're touching base with it, I want you to say, thank you. I know you have a positive intention, and I know that your positive intention and your method are two different things. And that we're going to offer you an opportunity to update your method to new ones that will help you get the job done for me even better than you've been doing. And this part's been working really hard for you, right? Been working hard to take care of you. So no one ever gets fired. So we can tell that to our part. No one ever gets fired. You get to stay. All parts are intrinsically equal and valuable. And that we're not going to take any choices away. We're only going to add new ones. So we always want to tell our parts these things, because it gives them the willingness to stay present with us and dialogue with us in consciousness. All right. So it's a rainy day here up in the foothills. I don't know where you're watching from, but if you're a lover of fire circles like I am, let's create a fire circle. So go ahead and close your eyes. Your eyes are going to be closed for a long time here in this process, and if you need to open them once in a while, it's okay, but you're going to get a lot more done if you just keep your eyes closed, and you'll be able to go deeper. So look into, so we're down at a fire circle together. And down at the fire circle, there's a hillside around the fire circle. There's a big hillside. And and it's sort of like a little amphitheater. Let's call it an amphitheater and a fire circle. And you're standing at the fire circle. And if you were to look out into the amphitheater, which is this natural hillside going up with some bushes and trees, this part of you that does whatever it does, this behavioral part, just notice where it's watching you from. Is it in the center? Is it to the right? Is it to the left? Notice where this part, this behavioral part, is residing. Is it in the shadows? A lot of them are in the shadows. A lot of them will be hiding because they're not used to talking in consciousness. They're not used to this conscious dialogue. So just notice where your part is and just go with whatever comes up. Notice that if it's in front and center, there's a reason for it. You know, it's really wanting your attention. And notice if it's in the shadows, how it's hiding, because it's probably not wanting your attention. It wants to stay and it feels threatened. So all those, the people here in this group who are having parts that are in the shadows, let's just let all of those parts in the shadows that are hiding in the bushes back there, let's just let them know one more time. No part ever gets fired. You get to stay. We're not going to get rid of you. We know that you have a positive intention for me. I know that you have a positive intention for me. Go ahead and tell them that. And you can say out loud, every time I ask you to speak, sometimes speaking it out loud actually makes it more tangible. So you can say out loud, thank you, parts, for being here. And I will not fire you. You get to stay. I might resource you with better methods so you can get your job done for me, even better than you already have. But I will not ask you to leave. I know that you have a positive intention for me. And I know that your positive intention is different than the method you use to carry out that intention. So we all have parts, and we all have behavioral patterns, and they're all intrinsically equal and valuable. So the part of you that overeats is as valuable as the part of you that goes on hikes. Believe it or not. I know. Hard to believe, but true. So we're going to ask your part up there, wherever it is, on the hillside. Ask it if it's willing to communicate with you in consciousness. Stay with it. And what does it say? It's really important to step out of the way and let the part speak throughout this exercise. So every time your mind wants to take over, just erase, erase, erase. You can flap your arms around like this. That helps. Shake it up. And then close your eyes, get back into your center, speak to the part, and let the part answer. Okay, if the part still is resisting you, give it the reframe one more time. No part ever gets fired. Every part has positive intention. And every part has a method, and the method and the intention are two different things, and we will not fire you. Okay? So remind the part of all of this and see then if it comes out. I wanted to see if now the firelight is lighting it up. Can you see the firelight starting to show these parts, the parts to you? Maybe there's a few parts out there. But this one, there's one that's really, tripping you up, and that part. See if it shows itself. And now that it shows itself, what object does it show itself as? I've had some weird ones. So let your mind be free. Let the part show you its form. Maybe it shows itself as a paper clip. Maybe it shows itself as a donut. Maybe it shows itself as a shovel or a sickle or pruners. I don't know, but you know. So go ahead and let the parts show themselves to you with the firelight, and especially that part that you're working on today. And just remember, this part that's been trying to this part that's been working so hard for you, it's been tripping you up, and it's been stopping you from achieving what you want in your life. And just remember what that part is, and maybe it will, if it has a voice that is going to speak to you, maybe it can speak to you from the voice of its own character. So it is its own character, comes through as its own form, has its own voice. And you are not that part. It is a part of you. Okay? If there's more than one, sometimes there's more than one part. And if there's more than one part, then I just want one spokesperson to speak for that. Ask them, please create one spokesperson out of your little group there. Sometimes they're a group. They need each other to get their job done. So just notice. And that spokesperson we're going to dialogue with, and we want to ask that part that does whatever it does for you. We want to ask it, we want to ask it, what do you want for me? Ask it, what do you want for me? So if there's a part of you that does anxiety or does anger or does hypervigilance, control, ask that part, what do you want for me? And just keep your eyes closed and let the part answer. And then ask it, through that, what do you want for me? So if I asked my part of hypervigilance, what do you want for me? And it told me, I want your house to be clean. And I would say, well, through that, what do you want for me? Less clutter. And through that, what do you want for me? Space to think. And through that, what do you want for me? Space to feel. And through that, what do you want for me? Healing. I want to feel peace. I want peace. So just keep asking, through that, what do you want for me, to your part, until you get to a deeper understanding of what that part is actually doing for you. And then say, thank you. Wow. I had no idea. Thank you so much. You're really working hard for me to keep me in this positive state. It has a positive intention for you, so thank it. Thank it for doing such a good job fulfilling this purpose of keeping you however it is keeping you. And then ask it to offer a representation of a younger you. So the youngest you that it knew when you put them on the job. How old was the youngest you, or how young was the youngest you that part came to work for? And there was an original contract too. So ask it, what was the original contract? The contract went something like, make sure that I, survive, am seen, am heard, am loved, make sure that I'm not alone. And then if you're not alone, what are you? Make sure that I'm what? And then, since this part has been working for you so hard and is a real professional at what it does, ask the part this. In your professional opinion, what might have happened to me if you hadn't come on the job? What might have happened to me if you've never come on the job? And then again, say, wow, thank you then. You're really working hard for me. And then ask the part, if there was a way to get your job done even more efficiently and easier than what you're currently, the methods you're currently using, what might it be? So like for instance, coming on and doing live videos is not really like something new for me. It's I'm kind of nervous about it actually. So, before the video, as I'm getting all my last minute details to prepare for you guys, there's this part of me that starts to well up and I feel it in my chest. It's like anxiety, it's tingly in my chest. So what is a method? The methods that it uses is just like taking me over and making my heart beat fast. And these are methods. And then I'll start, what will I start doing? I'll start, running around, walking around, doing little things, starting to clean things. It's weird. I'll start to clean the screen on my devices just to cope. But what could I do? So ask it, if there were other ways that could make your job even more efficient and just doable, successful, easy, and professional, or would you be open? Just ask it, would you be open to receiving some easier ways of doing these things? Okay? So now what I want you to do is you're down at the fire circle. Now you've got your parts. You're going to ask them to come down a little bit closer now. The ones that were in the shadows, if hopefully they feel safer now, and you can ask them to come down closer. So have them all come down closer into the fire circle, into the light, so we can see them. And now you'll be able to see their shapes and forms a little bit more. So your eyes are still closed. And now we're going to call out to the hillside, and we're going to invite, because this is all your parts are here. All your parts are here. And we're going to invite the creative parts down. So invite all of your creative parts down into the fire circle. not into the fire circle, but around the fire circle. So here they're coming down, and you might see them coming down, and they might be like a cheerleader group, or they might be they're in a group. These creative parts are usually in a group, and they might be different parts, and they're going to group up and they're going to come down. So have those creative parts come down to the fire circle. We need you. This can also be the resourceful or wise part. If you don't feel like you're a creative person, you have some wisdom, I guarantee it. And so this could be the creative, the wisdom, the wise part. So have them come down to the fire circle for a moment. And let this, and again, this part, these parts, they're going to have a spokesperson. So if they came down as a group, the wisdom, the group of wisdom, the group of creativity, have them choose a spokesperson of their group and let them know that we have a very special assignment for this creative part, because this creative part, this wise part, it likes to figure stuff out, so it's going to be excited. So thank them for participating. And ask them if they could come up with 3 new behaviors, rather than the behavior that you know so well, the ways that you do it. Ask if there's some way that these creative parts could come up with 3 new ways, new behaviors, and it has to be actions. Like, if we want to stop a behavior from doing its thing that it knows so well, that it's been doing for your whole life and working so hard for you, it has to be an action. It has to be another behavior that you're going to give it to replace its current behavior. So anxiety is a big one, and fear is a big one. So anxiety and fear often will live here, and there's a lot of different tools I have to work with those. But what the anxiety and fear does to perpetuate itself, that is what we need to replace with something else. When you are anxious or when you are fearful, if that's what you're working with today, we're looking at the behaviors that come out of that. And these creative parts are going to come up with 3 new behaviors that part could do to still carry out this positive intention for you that has been working since you were a child, a small child, in many cases. So it's been working for you for a long time, and these creative parts are going to present it with these new methods to carry out its positive intention for you. And it has to be 3. Many clients have come up with some. I'm going to let you have some time here to think about these 3 new methods. And then I'll let you know some that people have come up with that have helped a lot. So these new methods have to be methods that these intelligent, wise, creative parts think will work as well or even better than the old ways to fulfill the positive intention of keeping you whatever that is that part wants. I can't say because I didn't fill in your journal. But when you figured out what your positive intention was, what this part was trying to get done for you, these creative parts are thinking up new ways to carry that out. So now that you've had a few minutes, I'm going to tell you a few things that clients have come up with that help a lot. One is breathing. So breathing with counting, you know, doing a square where you inhale, exhale, you know, there's triangle, there's different counting, there's a lot of different breathing techniques. Doing I do ujjayi breathing where I put my thumbs up in the air like this, and I not ujjayi breathing, but breath of fire, where I get my diaphragm really pumping. That really helps. So breathing techniques in general are one that clients come up with that really help as a new method to carry out the positive intention of taking care of you. The other, another thing is going on a walk. So getting your body moving, going on a walk is really helpful. Just taking time to go out and be in nature is super helpful. And another really helpful one is singing. So especially when people have fear and they feel it, a lot of times they'll feel it in their throat, or they feel shy, or, you know, they have this part of them, this behavioral pattern that is pretty deep and preventing them from getting heard. And so singing is a really good way to activate this whole area of your body, and and the storage center of the part, where the part is working from. So if you've come up with 3 new methods for your part, maybe you can just give me some thumbs ups and hearts and let me know that you have these 3 new methods so that I know to move on, and I'll wait for you. So 3 new methods for your part to use to carry out its positive intention, that it's working really hard to take care of you from this behavioral part. And I love this. Okay, good, okay. I love this. I love that parts that we have been pushing away for so many years and being like, oh, I hate that I do that. Oh, I hate that part of me. Just want it gone. I love that we can embrace it in this way and realize that that part has this positive intention for you, and it's been working for you for a reason. And it's been working so hard for you to take care of you, whether it's to keep you alive, might have been when you were really young. In fact, let's just pause for a moment and close your eyes and make a picture of that little one, the little one that this part first started working for. And make eye contact with that little one. And let that little one see you. And let that little one take in you at your age right now, that they made it. Because back then when they put this part to work, it could be that they didn't know if they were going to make it. It might have been a response to survival. So just let them see you and make eye contact with that little one. They're so adorable. And just let them know that they made it. And let them breathe that into their little lungs. Let them see that with their little eyes. And let them take that reality into every cell of their being that they've made it. And tell them this. Tell them, good job. Good job putting this part to work for me, this behavioral part. Good job. You did exactly what you needed to do back then. Good job. Good job. Thank you so much. And just feel the weight lift off of that little one's heart. So back to our creative parts in our fire circle. Actually, let your little one know you're always there for them whenever you need them, whenever they need you. Or you need them. And returning back to our fire circle, we've got this creative part who has presented these new ways, and we've got this old part that's been working forever. And I want there to be like this formal exchange. So we're gonna light some torches. We're gonna make it a ceremonial space. So whatever you can do in your mind's eye to make this a ceremonial space for this exchange of new ideas, new ways. Maybe there's certain outfits that they put on. Maybe there's ritual costumes. Maybe there's candles that are lit, torches. Maybe there's something special put down on the ground in front of them, like maybe rose petals that could be like a red carpet for them to show them the importance of this. And then the creative parts are going to bundle up their gifts, their wisdom, their creative ideas. They're going to bundle them up into a beautiful gift package. And they're going to cross over the bed of rose petals to the part that has been working so hard for you and is so tired and so ready for change. And there's going to be this agreement made here. So the creative parts have this, and as you, as the chief part, you're going to state the parameters, or you're going to help define the parameters of this new way. So you're going to, again, making sure that the part knows, the behavioral part that's been working for you for so long, make sure that it knows that it's up to that part whether it takes on these 3 new behaviors or not. And if it's up to that part whether it finds them useful. And so we want to ask that part, would you find these new ways, these new methods, would you find them useful to getting your job done for me? So keep your eyes closed, ask this part, this creative, ask your behavioral pattern part if they find these new methods useful. Ask this part to future pace itself into a situation where it would normally work for you. Ask it to use these parts in that scenario and see if it works for this part to get the job done. If the answer is yes, excellent. If the answer is no, excellent, fine. It's okay. We just need to, that means that you need to get your creative parts working again to get 3 new parts. Until you have 3, I would say you wouldn't move on from this step. Because what happens is in reprogramming our program, we need lots of resources and choices. So the more choices we have, the more empowerment we have. So in a situation like this, we want to make sure that that part feels empowered by these choices. Do you feel empowered by my choices, my new creative choices to get your job done? Does it feel good to you? And if it says yes, then we're going to go to this next step. If it says no, we're going to reframe it once again and say, you're the boss, you're in charge, you're not going to be fired. Don't worry, well, maybe you're not the boss. You're not going to be fired. We're going to reframe, we're going to tell it again, we know your positive intention is different from the methods. We're just offering you some new methods. Your positive intention and you get to stay. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. So if you get a yes, you're going to go to this next step, which is, for how long are you willing to try these new methods? So ask the part, have the part give you the information. Again, you're not going to feed the part the information. The part is going to speak to you. So allow the part, with the part of you that knows how, to step out of the way. Allow the part to tell you, how long is it willing to try these new methods to carry out your positive intention? If it's 3 weeks, great. If it's forever, great. If it's a month, great. Just say wonderful, and then we can revisit and make sure it's still working for everybody if you choose that it doesn't work for you anymore. So this is a win-win. It gives the part the choice. It gives the part the empowerment and the safety that it's not being taken away, because again, it came on the job to work really hard for you, to keep you alive, to keep you well cared for. And then once this agreement, this final agreement is made, there's some papers drawn up. We can get some papyrus, since we're out at a fire circle, we can get some papyrus paper or something, some bark that we write on with our magic bark marker. And we're going to write down those 3, and you can even journal now and write down how you'd like to carry out your 3 new methods to get your positive intention accomplished for you. And then we just want to take a pause and say thank you so much to all of the parts out there that are working for me. And are there any parts out there in the amphitheater that we've created here in our mind's eye? Are there any parts out there that object to the signing of this contract? Are there any parts that object? And if there are, I'll give you a minute to ask. If there's not, great. Easy. If there are, great opportunity to deliver the reframes again. So deliver again this reassurance that nobody ever gets fired. It's a win-win situation. Everyone's going to be safe, because we made sure of that in our original desired outcome, that we weren't going to be doing anything that wasn't going to be safe. No one gets fired. The positive intention still gets to be carried out. And then, again, just saying thank you to all of the parts being present, and closing circle, putting out the fire with some water, and going back out into your beautiful day. And I thank you for joining me today. And I hope that this little step of parts work could be helpful to you in the future. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, this would be a great time to do it if you feel comfortable doing so. You're welcome. You're welcome. Aw. It's deep work. It's good stuff. Okay, I'm going to finish this video, and if you guys came on late and you want to replay it, it will be up on my Healing River website, and I'll probably, I always take my videos and kind of chop them down and edit them, polish them up, and then place them on there again. So you can watch tomorrow if you want, or you can watch right away. Either way, they'll be there. Okay, many blessings to everyone. I appreciate you being here and taking care of yourself so that we can be, present for ourselves during this this time of isolation and sequester. And just take good care of yourself and realize that a lot of people are going through it right now. And we all have parts, and I think one of the things that I love, you're welcome. Aw. One of the things I love about parts work is that it gives us this deep compassion for ourselves, And I feel like it's the deepest compassion I've ever felt is through parts work. And actually, it gets the compassion and the rapport gets so deep when I'm doing parts work with people in person that I become very clairvoyant. It's really interesting. And so think of that too for yourself, that the more compassionate we become, it is a little pathway to this clarity, this clairvoyance, where we can really step out of our way and just be present for the all and the allness of what's in front of us, whether it's a person with a bunch of parts that are, sabotaging them or what. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy parts work, I have another parts work piece that I want to do. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be able to do it, but I will do it at some point, and it's dealing with conflicting parts. So maybe there's a part of us that really wants to advance my career, say, and then there's another part of me that's really comfortable where I'm at, and there's this conflict, or maybe there's a part of me that wants to be a rock climber, and then there's another part of me that's really afraid of climbing rocks. Maybe there's that. These are just hypothetical.